Congratulations, the seller accepted your contract. Buyers now ask, okay, can we or should we ask for repairs? The answer is yes, you can, of course. But in the state of Hawaii, the seller is never obligated to do any repairs, none. Residential sales contracts, in effect, are as-is condition contracts. However, there's very little downside. For the most part, there's no downside in asking, so might as well ask. So you have two options. You could ask the seller for an actual repair, but then you have to be specific. You need to ask the seller for, let's say, repair A, B, C, and D, and specify who needs to do the repair. Licensed electrician, licensed roofer, licensed plumber, and so on. And specify how exactly the repair needs to be done. Otherwise, you're going to run the risk that the seller is going to hire a handyman and the quality of the repair is going to be substandard. Oops. The second approach is to ask the seller for a credit in lieu of repairs. And there's some benefits and some drawbacks with it. The benefit is that you get to then schedule the repair and decide who's going to do it. You actually select the vendors precisely, and you can oversee when it's done and how it's done. The drawback is that the burden to schedule is on you. So my experience is that when you have a seller that is out of state or out of the country, the chances for you to have the seller agree to your request is greater if you ask for a credit in lieu of repairs. But that is only if the amount of credit you're asking for is somewhat reasonable. So otherwise the seller is going to say, well, wait a minute, this is a fake number you're asking for. How did you come up with this quote? You're asking for too much money. I'm not going to give you any. So sometimes you can also try a hybrid approach. You can ask the seller for repair A by a licensed electrician, repairs B by a licensed plumber, and in lieu of repairs C, D, and E, please give us a credit in the amount of X dollar. And sometimes that works. Every situation is different, so you have to be mindful of what is the most practical approach and what gives you the greatest chance of success. The worst case scenario that can happen is that the seller is going to turn down your request, and the seller is going to say no repairs, no credit. Sometimes the seller may meet you in the middle, but your recourse is, if you're not satisfied with the seller's response, your recourse is to cancel the contract and walk away, and you have to cancel within the inspection contingency